Princess Leonor's bold act of love shocks the royal world. The cathedral was silent. Every camera focused. Every breath held. Spain's future queen stood beneath the golden arches of Denmark's royal chapel, and then, she did something no one expected. The world froze. The king blinked in disbelief. And for the first time in royal history, protocol shattered before millions of eyes. What Princess Leonor did that day wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't approved. It wasn't royal. It was real. And it changed everything. Because at that moment, her heart, not the crown, decided. It was supposed to be a ceremony of duty, of politics, of dynasties. But instead, it became a moment of pure humanity. The kind that reminds us that even a princess, even a future queen, can love beyond rules. What was this act? Why did it shake two monarchies? And what does it reveal about Leonor's destiny as Spain's next ruler? To understand that, we need to go back. Months before the wedding, rumors already swirled. Every step she took in Denmark was photographed, analyzed, speculated upon. Was she nervous? Was Christian the right choice? Could Spain accept a foreign prince? The questions were endless. But Leonor stayed silent, calm, collected, almost royal beyond her years. Yet beneath that calm was something else, a quiet defiance. Friends from her academy in Zaragoza whispered that Leonor had changed in the months leading up to her wedding. She spoke less about her future duties, and more about freedom. She questioned centuries-old traditions that bound women of her rank. She asked why love should ever be hidden. And when her moment came, under the weight of 2 crowns and centuries of expectation, she answered those questions, not with words, but with action. As the vows concluded, Leonor turned, not to the officiant, not to the cameras, but to Queen Letizia. Her mother, her mentor, her anchor. And in front of the royal families of Spain and Denmark, she broke the ancient silence between duty and emotion. She crossed the ceremonial space, and embraced her mother. The gasp that followed could be heard even through the broadcast feed. Royal brides don't do that. They don't leave formation. They don't cross before the priest. They don't touch anyone until the ceremony ends. But Leonor didn't care. For her, this was more than a coronation of love, it was liberation. King Philippe's expression said it all. Shock, then pride. Quiet tears filled his eyes. He knew this was not rebellion, it was revelation. His daughter, the heir he raised to rule with heart, had just shown the world what kind of queen she would be. The cameras caught it. Millions replayed it. Some critics called it disrespectful. But others saw something Spain hadn't witnessed in generations, sincerity. Because in that moment, Leonor reminded the world that monarchy without emotion is just a costume. That love, when pure, can be the most royal act of all. But this wasn't the only surprise that day. Hidden from the cameras was something even more profound, something between Leonor and Christian. After the ceremony, when the guests moved toward the palace reception, one Danish photographer accidentally captured a quiet exchange near the garden doors. Leonor removed one of her gloves, the symbol of royal propriety, and placed it into Christian's hands. No words, just a smile, a promise of equality. It was small, simple, but powerful, because in royal tradition, gloves represent distance, the unspoken rule that rulers touch the world with caution. Leonor taking hers off was a declaration that her reign would not be cold, or distant, or trapped in golden halls. This is why, days later, the Spanish press called it the gloved rebellion. Yet behind that gentle defiance was a deeper truth, a message to her people. She wasn't breaking the crown, she was redefining it. The crowd in Copenhagen saw the fairy tale. But Spain saw something else, a daughter becoming a leader. Royal watchers noticed how King Felipe watched her, not as a father losing his little girl, but as a monarch witnessing evolution. Queen Letizia, her eyes glistening, held her composure. But those who knew her saw it, the relief, the pride, the understanding that her daughter had just brought humanity back into the monarchy. As the night went on, Leonor's gesture became the heart of every conversation. It wasn't the dress. It wasn't the jewels. It wasn't the foreign dignitaries. It was that one moment, when a future queen chose emotion over expectation. The world shared the clip millions of times. It trended in Spain, Denmark, the UK, and across the Atlantic. Headlines called it the royal heartbeat heard around the world. But why did it resonate so deeply? Because for centuries, royalty has been about control. About suppression. About the mask of perfection. Leonor tore that mask in half, gracefully, beautifully, to reveal something everyone could relate to. A daughter who loves, a woman who feels, a leader who isn't afraid to be human. In the weeks that followed, messages flooded the royal household. Letters from Spain, from Latin America, from young women across Europe, all saying the same thing: thank you, Leonor. Thank you for showing that strength isn't silence. That leadership can cry. That love isn't weakness. And as Spain enters a new era, Leonor's bold act of love will be remembered not as scandal, but as the beginning of a new kind of royalty. Because sometimes, history doesn't change in parliaments or wars. It changes in a single embrace. And that's exactly what Princess Leonor did. Her act wasn't rebellion. It was revelation. Her gesture wasn't disobedience. It was destiny. And that moment, when a daughter, a bride, and a future queen became one, will echo through history as the day Spain's crown learned to feel again. Princess Leonor didn't just marry for love. She ruled with it, before even sitting on the throne.